Hello everyone! Today we have the pleasure of watching two very good games by Galaxyinquisitor from the NA server. Now, because he's a very good player, he's not going to camp in his tank destroyer mines, he's going to push forward and try to fight, either for the hill or for the city village thing area where the encounter cap is. He has already lost the hill because the enemy TVP was simply outclassing his stock Batchat, and so he decides that it's hard for a turretless tank to fight that, so I'll just go for the village. Even though the village is kind of overcrowded, he has 3 heavies there already. The enemy also have some sort of presence, so push through the middle is highly unlikely. And this is where the Jagdpanzer works perfect. Oof. Come out, slap a shot, the enemies have a very hard time pinning you back, and this big old 17 centimeter gun has over 3000 DPM too, so it's very good gun. It's just savage. I want to address his usage of equipment here. He's using calibrated shells. Now, you would think that you don't need it. You know, 299 AP and 380 hit is more than enough, right? Well, actually, yeah, that's right. You definitely don't need extra penetration. However, there are two things. First is having the extra pen just feels right. You have the Jagdpanzer E100 17 centimeter gun. You can't struggle to penetrate. Like, you're the biggest, baddest gun there is. I mean, the 183 is a real dub. This is a proper gun. And the second thing is that, well, there are a lot of things that you can penetrate with AP and not have to use hit. But those things are generally the same things you have for mediums. When you use calibrated shells for the hit shell, 330 hit to penetrate E100 Jagdpanzer superstructure, IS-4, IS-7 front, E50M turret, that sort of thing. Rammer is probably the more competitive choice because, well, you have the DPM and you can pen anyways, but he's using this, and now as you can see he's penning the Jagdpanzer 100 superstructure with calibrated shells with armor piercing, no problem. And he's doing a very good job of hitting every shot. He's aiming carefully, he's not rushing his shot, making sure to put them in. Very good job there. Because, well, if you miss, then you lose 15 seconds. That's a lot of time that you do no damage in, so very good job here. Now he switches for the hit just to be sure. That's an easy pen. And he decides to push. This is the most interesting moment of the battle because he decides to make this push. And he wants to come behind them and murder them because the guerrilla is at the lighthouse, so he's not going to be getting crossfired. Very good idea. However, his heavies are low on hit points. Kranwagen is a one shot. Conqueror's got like, I don't know, 700 hit points or something like that. They're afraid, they're not coming with the push, so now he's isolated here. And those guys are almost dead. The Batchat is stuck and, well, now he's dead. Jagdpanzer flanked through the water and now he's dead as well. So all that's left of his team is the FV205B183 in spawn. And the issue here, quite apparent, is that there's the whole map in between them, so the enemies can just go and kill one at a time. It takes a bit of an unnecessary shot there from the 100, he knew that he was on the hill. Another shot here from the ST1, but he had to finish the TVP, otherwise he would have been dead. Now he's trying to turn, but sadly the Jagdpanzer is not fast enough, at least not on this sort of soft terrain. Takes a shot from the 100, and now he's down to 300 hit points. The good thing is that now he has 15.2 second reload with the extra penetration. Bad news is that you don't really need any of those, you need the enemies to disappear. 183 finishes the griller, but he dies to the ST1, which means he's now in a 1 vs 2, and the 100 does the right thing here. He just goes around. The fact that he bounced the shot here, that Galaxyinquisitor bounced his shot, gives him extra confidence, and now with enemies on both sides there's nothing he can do. He could have been above 8000 damage had he penetrated that shot, but as it is, well, 7500, heartbreaking loss, but well, he did very well. He perhaps was over enthusiastic with his push around, but he did a lot of work there, put a lot of good shots, basically did over half of what his entire team managed to achieve, and it was not to be. However, he did not quit. He is back in his funky T49 with the little gramophone on top, playing a new bay, and while the lineup looks very intimidating. Double Moisian, M5 Yo, T95, WT. Both of the enemy mediums are tier 8, while both of the friendly mediums are tier 9. So they shouldn't have any issues getting control of the bridge area, especially that the Moisians definitely want to go in the city and side scrape and fight around bigger boxes than them, while the AMX definitely wants to fight the bridges, gun depression, all of that. So he comes here, playing more aggressively because he knows he's safe, but also trying to stay safe in case some TD is staying back, pre-aiming or something like that. And now they move in around the back, and here they find a WT, low DHE, aim for the weak spot, boom, 700 damage. This is what's satisfying about the T49, you go anywhere and you just big hit in. Even though the gun is kind of troll at this sort of range, it's not going to be an issue. And now, look at the minimap. The entire enemy team is stuck in that little park there, and the greens, sorry, have the reds pretty much circled. There is no real safe position for the reds to be. They will have shots coming from all directions. It's a constant crossfire. It's a very tough spot for them, so they need to kind of push and break one of the flanks, which is what the T-34-3 was presumably trying to do, but he failed quite miserably. And now the defender coming in, and this guy has a pretty big autoloader, so he's deadlier, puts some serious damage in, but he takes some very serious damage back. And now the enemies are pushing the other side, finally. We see the Moisian making a move, and he's going to try and punish him for that, and that's a bit of an issue. That was more red than grey. I mean, the shot went in, so good job. But you see the issue with the T-49. Stumble upon those big German heavies, you just can't do much. You need perfectly lined shots in order to do any sort of damage. But here comes the second one, and apparently the side is weaker than the rear on those things, much like the mouse. Actually, no, on the mouse the rear is weaker than the side, but not by much. Still, he managed that shot, and now an HE for 200 damage. That's good, but to give some HE, well, insight, he could have shot underneath the Moisian between his tracks and splashed up on the belly. That would have done more damage, but it's a bit unreliable. You know, if the shot goes a bit low, you're going to miss entirely. He could have shot in between like the turret and the hole, and if he hits right there, he splashes on the engine deck, and that also does more damage because it's a thinner area of the Moisian, but well, there's no thin area on that. The advantage of shooting for that spot, for the like engine deck, is that any way you miss, you're still going to hit the tank and do some damage. And well, and the lower plate is about, well, really thick anyway. Now, he's killed the WT, and what's left is double Moisian and the Yo. He takes a shot here. He was busy writing asterisks of happiness in the chat, but it's not a big deal. He's going to manage to do fine, because now that the Yo has fired, he has only one shell in the clip, so he can trade one, and then he'll have the reload to put an HE in the back. That would be some 1300, 1400 damage for 450, which is a pretty good trade. Especially that the Yo he stopped here, but he just misses, so now it's a lot of damage for free. He goes in, of course, for the HE in the back. He kinda messes it up, but he can HE the side as well, so it's not a big deal. Does a lot of damage, up to over 5000 damage in his little T-49, and shooting a lot of tier 9 tanks as well, which is very good. Well, it's not like the enemy had many tier 8s, but you know, taking this little tank with no penetration and murdering the tier 9s like that. Very, very good job. Another shot in the yaw misses, so he can do the same thing again. Just tank a hit, this time for real, and finish him off with the next shot. You could say that he could have tried to like bait a shot because you don't know what's going to happen on the other side, but the Moisian dice is in a 1 vs 3, is not going to make it out, so he finishes the yaw and 6400 damage in the tier 8 light tank. That's a very good result. He got, well, not very many medals, but high caliber and very, very, well, big high caliber. Some Confederate, he was a team player while farming all of that damage. A bunch of base experience, and well, he did everything right. He got the shots in, that's what the T-49 does, puts in the damage at close range because, well, it's not accurate. And this time, well, it was to be. So thank you, Galaxyinquisitor, for sharing the replays with us. Those were some great games. Thank you everyone who has watched this for watching it, and please give me some sort of feedback. No likes, dislikes, comments, something, cause I don't know what I'm doing. I think this is the best video ever made, on Blitz at least. But if you disagree, please feel free to change my mind. I would be very interested to see why you think this wouldn't be the best video ever made. And with that, I'll see you in the next one, which will be some actual, like, my style of stuff, going nerdy, pausing the video, that sort of stuff. So until then, have a good day everyone.